You need to read labels carefully. The ingredients are always listed in their order of prominence, but sometimes what a cereal manufacturer will do, when you look at the side of the cereal, it'll say brown sugar, raw sugar, glucose syrup, honey. The reason for that is if they added them all together and only used one kind of sugar, it would be the main ingredient and it would have to come first. So they put lots of different kinds of sugar. But it would be nice. I mean, if you look at the packet of sultana bran, it has to tell you how many sultanas, what the percentage of sultanas is there, and it will often tell you a little bit about the bran. You've got to add up the figures and subtract them from 100 to work out the sugar content, because they don't want to tell you that. Read nutrition information panels. Look at serving sizes. Serving sizes can be really quite strange. Sometimes the serving size is really small. If there was a very good program, I don't know if any of you watch a program called The Checkout on the ABC. I help out with that program sometimes, but they did some really good things at looking at the same product can have different serving sizes depending on the packaging. If you look at margarines, the ones that have got the plant sterols in them to reduce your cholesterol have a serving size of 10 grams, and the other ones have a serving size of 5 grams. They put the biggest serving size on because a 5 gram serve will have no effect on you at all, but 5 grams of spread is really a very small amount. I mean, if you're putting it over toast, you're only halfway across and it's all sunk in and you've lost the rest of it. Be very sceptical about health claims. People can make health claims and then people like me have to complain about them. There is no official watchdog that looks at health claims, and when you complain about them, it will take you weeks of work, and you've eventually got to go to the ACCC, and then people want to have a big court case over it. It is such a problem. So when people put wrong information out, it's very difficult to actually combat it. We need people like Choice who do it pretty well, but it's very, very difficult. We ought to have a watchdog from government, but we don't. So a healthy diet is not difficult, and if you look at health authorities all over the world, the recommendation is that we should have more plant foods and fewer highly processed foods, and this will be helpful for both health and the sustainability of the food supply. Most of the work I now do is worked on sustainable food supplies for the future. I'm doing that with a couple of universities. But everything we look at, it doesn't mean we have to have none of the other things, but it does mean we need less. And to my mind, a balanced diet, I've been putting this up since the days when we used to have overhead projectors with things on it. Looking at my idea of the balanced diet is that we need to consider nutrition and health. I can't help doing that. We also need to consider taste and what I call food literacy, knowing about food, knowing where it comes from. It's been shown to be quite important with berries, but it's probably important with fish, and it's probably important with quite a few things. But it's not just that. It's knowing how to cook it, how to prepare it, how to get a simple meal. We all need to know these things, and it really isn't difficult. And I think the environmental sustainability of our diet is also really important. So if we can think about those sorts of things, and taste, fresh herbs, spices, all of these things not only taste good, but we're now finding that a number of those spices and herbs have some wonderful health-giving properties, which doesn't mean you stick them in a supplement and take the supplement. It just means you use it in the cooking. And so the food tastes better. And when you use a variety of those things to give flavour to foods, you don't have to rely on salt and sugar and lots of fat. So you actually get the flavour. We've got wonderful foods in Australia. We have a very good food supply. Unfortunately, we now have a food supply that is dominated by a lot of the processed foods. So my suggestion at the supermarket is to go around the edge, just duck up the aisle to get the oats. Don't even go near the cereal and snack food aisle. You just don't need to go there. It really is very difficult. We've tried to come up with a system of star ratings so that people can look at foods. Unfortunately, it's already being abused. Just last week we saw some soft drinks which were forbidden from using the star rating. So the Diet Coke or one of the Coca-Cola things has got stars on it because it's got the sugar taken out, and that was never part of the deal. They're not supposed to do that. So it'll be a big legal battle to get that off. But it was done to give people a quick, easy way to do it. We would have preferred traffic lights. Oh, that's me. I'll take that off. A while ago when I was younger, by the looks. But so it's not hard to have a healthy diet. And if you want to know where to go for good advice, all the dietary guidelines and everything about the dietary guidelines, all of the references we looked at, all of the reports we wrote over the 4 years, are there, and there are simple things just that where you can see things in the simplest form or the most complex form. It's all available on that Eat for Health government website from the NH and MRC, so it's not a big problem.